Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and this is probably the most valuable video I'll ever film, and it's going through a case study. I'm going to go over how we scaled an average OnlyFans creator from 1k a month to 21k a month in just 30 days with no ads, no spammy methods, just fully organic methods. So as you can see here, from the 1st of January to the 23rd of January, she had only done 1.3k on her OF. And then in the first 30 days, she went up to 21k. And then with 60 days of implementation, she jumped up to 32k. So she went from this 1.3k to 32k in 60 days. Like I said as well, it was all organic growth. So a bit of a backstory about this model. She messaged me mid-January. She was panicking, she didn't know what to do, because the previous year she was with an agency who maintained her around 10 to 15k a month. The reason she left them is because she felt like they didn't really care about her, like they weren't putting in the effort to scale her further than that. And she knew that she had the potential to make more than 15k a month. And she felt drained just putting in all this effort to just stay in the same place. Yes, 15k a month is a lot to some people, but if you've got a bigger vision, it's going to be a bit soul destroying, do you know what I mean? Especially as well, when she first started, she did actually make 30k. Something else to note, this agency actually got her Instagram banned, and I believe her Instagram was at about 80 or 90k followers when this happened, so she started a new Instagram from scratch. She would have done this around, I believe, November 2024, and this was also the point where she joined another agency. She took the risk leaving her agency that was keeping her on 15k a month to scale further. But instead of scaling further like she wanted, they just gave her empty promises and didn't deliver. So a couple months following on from her joining this new agency, she did manage to hit 10k followers on her new Instagram account. But the problem was she was at a standstill again. And this is because her agency was telling her to do content that was not appropriate for Instagram's guidelines. I'm sure you do know about the TOS, but if you don't, Instagram is actually getting quite strict with OF creators now. And it was actually around this time when the TOS got more strict. She didn't know why she'd just suddenly stopped growing. She didn't know why the chat team on her account was just losing her money. And she just felt stuck as she had no communication from her team. Going from 15k down to 6k down to 1k a month is just shocking. The chatters from this new agency that she had joined were not upselling her content at all. They were almost just like maintaining conversation with people, just like, hey, what you doing? Nothing much, you, like, how's your day been? They never tried to upsell. Her subs dropped fast and her income dropped even faster. Going from consistent 5-figure months for almost over a year down to 1k a month was devastating for her. And when she came to me and told me this, all I wanted to do was help. So we mapped her out a plan and got to work. Quote unquote, she said, I put in the work so I know I can get results, but it's been like this for months. I don't know how to fix it. And again, here's a screenshot of the 1.3k that she had done in January up till the day that she messaged me. Her previous management caused her fans to drop drastically, and she lost over 13k of income since joining them. As you can see here, from 4-figure payouts weekly to 3-figure payouts, $474 in an entire week must have been so disheartening for her. And like I said as well, prior to this, her Instagram did get banned, so she had just started a new page which was getting flagged up constantly by the content her agency was getting her to do. And she was faced with this message here. This is every OF creator's worst nightmare. I did attach a screenshot of her Instagram. This was actually 2 weeks into our partnership. She had around 11k followers when we started working with her. So her reels were getting flagged up constantly, and the ones that weren't were stuck on low views. She had no system in place, no structure, no personality, no niche, and no testing. She was posting a lot but getting no growth. She said, I feel so stuck, I'm stressed right now, and she had already tried multiple agencies already. So how did we take her from her position to 21k in a month? So I'm going to go over some account infrastructure. So the 3 main platforms we used were Instagram, YouTube and TikTok. So we're going to start with Instagram, so posting 3 reels a day without fail. We kept consistent with reels and never missed a day. We initially warmed up her account with 1 a day for 3 days, 2 a day for 3 more, and then stuck at 3 times a day and never broke the momentum. So here's 3 of her reels that went viral. And her best performing verticals were her podcast ones, talking ones, skits and mirror verticals. Got some examples here of some of the views she was pulling in from these verticals. I'll show you a couple of them. What's worse, a guy who tips you $3 for nudes or a guy who tips you $300 to just talk?
Well, obviously the first one. Second, men can
Tasha. So there's a couple of examples of her reels. We're also really big on helping creators implement their personality into their page. At the end of the day, their social media is a personal brand, and looks just aren't enough anymore. Looks alone is very competitive, so implementing a personality makes you stand out and also attracts bigger spenders, but I'll get into that a bit later. So she went from low views, everything being flagged up, to reaching 16 million views in the last 30 days. Something to mention as well, quality is actually what your audience says it is. You need to use quantity to your advantage to learn what they think is quality. So when you see what's working and you've done some testing, you can see what people want, and then you can focus in on that vertical or those verticals. Whereas beforehand, she was stuck getting low views as she didn't have a system in place, and these were all very generic OF girl reels as well. Majority of these were just like walking ones or just posing or just doing activities, but she's wearing like short shorts, stuff like that. But that's very generic and shows zero personality. We also post daily stories on Instagram. Keeping her story active was very important, whether it was a selfie, a call to action, a Q&A, or sharing her posts. There was always at least one post on her story at all times. And then we have some call to actions here. Behind the scenes, it's the weekend, come say hi, am I keeping you up late tonight? Behind the call to actions, so instead of using click here for a free trial or click for exclusive content, we used simple, subtle wording on the sticker text to create that curiosity. This also helped us stay within Instagram's guidelines. We also ran a constant promo on her OF to get more subs through the door. Typically the sub price when on sale was somewhere between $3 and $5. And some people may think that sounds cheap, but the majority of the money is made in the messages, but it still acts as a paywall to keep those freeloaders out. And then the welcome message funnel. So we had, hey babe, you should put this as your new lock screen, and attached a lingerie photo. This acts as a pattern interrupt. It's not a typical welcome message. So once a new sub replied, our chatters focused on building rapport. The most important things to find out from a new sub is their age, their real name, their job, and where they're from. This way, we can get a good idea of how much money they have and the situation they're in. So for example, a fan subscribes, he lives in central London, he has his own business, he likely has a lot of money. Compared to an 18-year-old boy who's just subscribed and he's a student, probably doesn't have big money to spend. And here I've just attached a photo of her pending and current balance when we hit 10K in the pending balance for the first time. Bearing in mind she used to do 15K months, and going from that 1K month to this was very good progress. The next thing on Instagram is trial reels. So we repurposed her winning reels on trial reels, which they almost acted like a lottery ticket to go viral. They pulled in extra views. So for example here, 188K, 36K, 58K. These are just screenshots of some of the trial reels results. Trial reels don't show up on your main grid if you don't know what they are. They're not shown to your followers, just to cold audiences. They can be reposted again and again, but they have to be changed so the metadata is different. They allow you to test ideas without hurting your account performance. And trial reels are Instagram's quiet distribution feature, a way to push reels to non-followers only without showing up on your grid or feed. They're Instagram's way of testing your content with cold traffic risk-free. So how do you use trial reels? One, you find a winning vertical. So in her case, it would have been one of these videos here. All of these have over 100K. The more views, the more likely it will go viral again and again and again. And from the top of my head, I think this was the one that went viral the most after reposting it over 100 times. Once you've downloaded the viral reel, you need to edit it with an AI software which alters the metadata. Instagram does not allow you to repost the same video over and over again on trial reels. So when I say that, you can do it, but you have to run it through AI software first to change the metadata. So Instagram can't recognize that you're reposting the same video. Next, you post it on trial reels, but change the caption and alter it slightly. If Instagram picks up that you're reposting the same reel over and over again, even after running it through the AI software, they will just limit your reach. So be very careful, and obviously it's not worth putting all that time and effort into trial reels if you don't do it properly. And step 4, just repeat the process. Next we have TikTok. So there were 3 TikToks being posted per day on every account. 1 was client ran, which is the account she had, and 3 were run by us. Her account acted as the main one, and ours were for different things. So for example, on one we posted skits, on one was just talking verticals and one was just photo swipes. TikTok had a very similar strategy to Instagram, but like I said, we had an account for each thing, so we kept things niche on there. Instagram's not a good platform to have multiple accounts, as they do actually have a new terms of service update where they don't want you to have multiple accounts, whereas TikTok don't have a problem with it. So if you want to have multiple accounts on TikTok, that is a good strategy to have. Then we have YouTube. So first of all, we were posting daily YouTube shorts. We were just repurposing her Reels and TikToks on YouTube Shorts. She didn't have to do any extra work for this. And like you can see here, this one, for example, got 160k views. And that's from a Reel that's already been posted. So it's just an extra push, basically. Any views are extra views with YouTube Shorts. Nothing was specifically filmed for YouTube Shorts. And with YouTube, we did one video per week. Try-on hauls worked well for her, as it's a great way to show personality and tease at the same time. It also aligns really well with YouTube's guidelines, as it theoretically helps girls, because she's talking about like the items of clothing, the sizing, the fit, like the quality of the material, and saying where the items are from. The video is filmed like it's for females, but it gains a large male audience. So that is a great method right there in itself. And here's some stats from 2 of her try-on haul videos. This one here was black lingerie try-on haul, and this one is just a lingerie try-on haul. As you can see as well, she gained a good amount of subscribers on YouTube from each video, and her watch time is pretty impressive. YouTube as well is really slept on by OF creators, so it's definitely a good way to stand out and be unique. And to have that long form authority is really good as well. If you can keep viewer retention throughout longer videos, it means they're likely connecting with your personality. And if they like your vibe, they might subscribe to you on OF because they want to have a chat, they want to get to know you. And actually, big spenders, the whales, initially sub to get to know you and build that connection. They don't want the content. That comes later. Something to add as well is we also did content shoots to help her batch record what was working. So we did multiple Airbnb shoots. Here's a picture from one. And we'd meet up with her and just literally batch record loads of Reels, loads of Instagram feed photos, loads of OnlyFans feed photos. Essentially, it was to help her backlog. That way, if she has any custom content, any video calls, or anything in real time that she has to complete, or if there's new trends on social media, she can keep up to date with those and not worry about doing all this work day in, day out. As you can see as well, we filmed multiple variations of each thing, like here. We've got the Starbucks skit. So we came up with multiple jokes and different skits in the Starbucks uniform rather than just focusing on, let's say, like 1 or 2, just so we can test different things. So even a creator who's stuck, who's stressed out, who's had a bad experience with an agency, maybe that agency has ran their page right into the ground, there is still hope to grow. Organic growth is the best as well because it's better for the long term. Spammy methods like guaranteed gains, paid shout-outs, even like using Twitter and Reddit will never be able to compete with organic content in the long run. Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube are hands down the best platforms to use for growth. And if I had to prioritize which one is the best, I would definitely say Instagram, then TikTok, and then YouTube. But YouTube, like I said, is really slept on. So if you're considering doing YouTube, 100% get on it. I've said this in some of my other videos, but getting 10k views on YouTube is probably more beneficial than getting like 100k or 200k views on Instagram or TikTok, because people have sat through like a long form video and engaged with it. Like I mentioned as well, if you can keep someone's attention throughout a long form video, they probably like your personality. And that's why it's so important to showcase your personality and your personal branding. And even if you're thinking like, oh, my looks alone do really well, why not do both? Why not showcase your personality and use your looks? If something's working and something else could make it work better, you should definitely do both. We've worked with a lot of creators who have just been using their looks to promote their content, whether it's through Instagram, TikTok. But yeah, this is how we scaled this model from 1k to 21k in 30 days and then up to 32k the month after. So if you're a creator who is consistent, is coachable, data-driven, has zero entitlements or complaints, and is actually invested in their growth, this could be the break that you've been waiting for. Methods like this is not for creators who want quick money or who don't post daily and can't stay consistent. The ones who blame everything and everyone but themselves. The ones that overthink everything and expect results overnight. and the ones who aren't in it for the long term. The way we scaled this creator is not like a get-rich-quick scheme. From her end, it took dedication, consistency, and hard work. We mapped everything out, we gave her content plans, and she stuck with it every single time. She brought the work ethic, and we brought the systems, and together that was just an unbeatable team. And if it's for you, we have a guarantee. We help creators double their revenue in just 60 days. And that's double their revenue at least. And if we fail, then you don't pay and we work for free until we help you win. That's how sure we are that we can scale creators. There's no catch, no empty promises, we're fully transparent and provide results. Our payment system, we get paid if you get paid. So we're actually not an agency, we're a partnership, so both sides are aiming for the same goal. In other words, if you don't scale, neither do we. If this creator's situation sounds a bit too relatable or you're just ready for a change, comment the word audit on this video or message it to me on Instagram, which is linked in the description, and I'll put my Instagram on screen. I'll audit your socials for free and your OnlyFans page, or alternatively, click the calendar link in the YouTube description. So this is a detailed breakdown of how we took this creator from 1K to 21K in just 30 days. If this video brought you any type of value, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.